Hi guys, today I'm talking about bots. So I've had a lot of questions about bots, probably, over the last month, really even since the beginning of my channel where I started talking about Veve and NFTs. And, I've given it some thought. I tried to put together a video on it. I don't think I could add much to it, but yesterday I saw a video on Cavell Anderson's channel, great channel, and if you don't know, that's why this channel really got a lot of subscribers is due to him, because when I was under 1,000 subscribers, he did a reaction video to one of my comic videos, and it really bumped me up. And then once you get over 1,000 subscribers, that's kind of when YouTube's algorithm starts picking you up, and that's kind of what has propelled my channel over the last really month or so. But go and check out this video. I'll link it below. He shows people using bots. He shows them getting drops. And I think it's always been like a rumor. People have discussed it. I necessarily haven't seen real evidence until I saw some of these videos. And he shows multiple videos. And it's quite disturbing as a YouTube user, someone who enjoys the platform. It definitely has, it definitely shook me, or whatever you want to say. So here are my thoughts on it. I think it really eats away at the Veve promise in two ways. Okay, so the first way is that the promise is that, hey, you're going to get on this platform, and you can participate in these drops for a relatively low amount of money, get some of these cool collectibles, have a chance at it, and then maybe later on, if you get one of those, it'd be worth more, or you would, But either way, that's the promise. And it's going to be fair. Some of this goes into a little bit about my background too, and my knowledge of building systems and other things. Obviously, I'm just this dude sitting in a basement, whatever, but the concept is that when the drop goes down, you smash that buy button, and you're going to have a chance at the lottery like everybody. What I actually had thought, technically how it works and how it works, is actually two different things. And that's really why it took me so long to make this video. So let me talk about what that video showed and what I thought and how they obviously are quite different. So what the video shows is, people with multiple phones, or a guy with multiple phones. He has some sort of, bot running. And so it can find the buy button faster than a human and press it. And then he clicks off of the error message, and then it will repeatedly do it again. So this gives you an advantage in two ways. The first way it gives you an advantage is obviously it can click the button faster than any human. Even if you're some, really good, video game player or something like that, it's going to click the button faster than you. And then the other thing is that you can run multiple devices. So, if you wanted to run 5 devices, you'd only have 2 hands, so you couldn't do that. So that allows you to have, more chances at the lottery, more tickets at the lottery. Now, that one, the last one, I always thought is what bots did. And so, because if you look at the numbers, 200,000, now you have an additional 2 or 3 times that lottery tickets, it doesn't matter. And that's why I wasn't as worried about it maybe as some. And I was like, okay, well, they got to buy those phones. So they invested $500 per phone or whatever. And now they got to try and, win a NFT here and there. And maybe they're going to, whatever. I just didn't think the math worked. But what we learned from watching those videos is that, and maybe we should take Veve at its word, is that the way the system is architected is that it is truly first come, first serve. So in other words, it's who can hit that buy button first gets in. This is where and maybe because of some of my background, I had thought that's actually not how it works. I had thought that because, everybody around the world is clicking, there's latency and other things, is clicking that buy button. They click the buy button, they accumulate all those buys from across the world over, a second, and then they throw them into a bin, and then they draw one. I actually thought that's how it worked, but that's not how it works apparently. It is actually, and give them credit, it actually works first come, first serve. Whoever can bash that buy button gets it first. Now, herein lies the problem, is you're not going to be able to click it faster than these bots. And now having 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 10 devices clicking faster is a clear advantage. And when you're talking about, okay, let's say a guy has 10 devices, which isn't really that many devices when you're talking about the hundreds of thousands of users, but he can click it faster than anybody, he's going to, he would actually get 10 out of 10. But the only reason why he doesn't get 10 out of 10 is because he's competing against other people who have bots. That's what's mind-blowing. So, and Cavell says in his video, like, the only way to, like, actually get some of these might be to, basically, you're going to have to use a bot, especially when the mint numbers are low. Now, you'd say, okay, well, then how come, my friend got one? My friend got one. How did that happen? Well, they do, and they have said they do have some sort of technology. So maybe they have some sort of technology that recognizes that from this one IP address, there were, 10 clicks very, very quickly. And so they somehow eliminate some of that in some of their technology. Once again, I'm speculating. So, but I think that clearly undermines one of the promises of the company. And that's, bad. It's bad for confidence. And it's especially bad for new users. Because new users, as you recall, and I was a new user at one time, they already have difficulty coming to the platform. There's so many different promises that have to be kept. The promise of blockchain has to be kept. The promise of what an NFT has to be kept. This is an emerging market. Is it going to just die off? So there's all these other elements. And then to mix it with the fact that the most core aspect of what they might, basically start with, which is a drop, is now unfair, that I think is a problem. I think that's a problem that Veve is going to have to fix. Okay, so let's go to the second problem. The second problem now is the promise of the marketplace. The marketplace promise is, hey, you got a bunch of collectors, and, some of them want to sell, some of them don't want to sell. Okay. But this is where it's now a little bit goofy, because now what you have is, especially after a drop, well, let's just pretend there was a drop of 1,000 minted. I don't know, I'll make it up. 500 to 800 of those are now owned by people who have bots. Those are not true collectors, and those are not individual people. It's not like 800 people. Like when I did some of my numbers, I thought 800 to 1,000 different people. Maybe someone would get super lucky and get 2. But I didn't think that there would be a smaller amount of people that would own 10 of these various collectibles. And now you've seen screenshots, they've been running around Twitter and whatnot, where they show, people that have 10 Walt Disneys, and they were selling them. So they must have had, I don't know, make it up, 10 phones, 50 phones, and their bots were able to cut. So this is, and maybe when you're making $20 a NFT, but no, as we know, Walt Disney's now worth, $5K or something like that. It's crazy. So that was big money for them. And where there's big money, it will just accelerate in terms of people using bots, the sophistication of the bots, et cetera, et cetera. So this is a challenge for Veve. And I obviously think they will meet this challenge. They have, a tremendous team. We've seen that. I just talked about it in my last video, how impressed I was when they were able to react with some of the issues that we had in the past Disney week. I think that they definitely might need to change the initial promise. So now, this is my thoughts on it. Once again, I'm a guy sitting in a basement, and, with some of my past experiences, everybody's telling you a solution, and it's, whatever. It's ridiculous, okay? And you got, your team in there, you're staying up all night working on stuff. It's whatever. Okay, so this is actually how I thought it worked and why I wasn't as worried about it. Initially, like I said, I thought it worked where for the first, 1 second, which is a long time, maybe 2 seconds, you click the buy button, and it accumulates all of those buys, all of those tickets, if you want to say, for the lottery, and then it was pulling them out. And if that's truly how it would work, then the bots wouldn't matter. Because if you clicked it faster than the next guy, it wouldn't matter because you're just clicking it within this first 1 to 2 seconds. And so then, it would, 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 jumble up all the 100,000 or 200,000 people that clicked the buy button within the first 1 or 2 seconds. And then it would, obviously pull lottery tickets out, whatever, 4,000, 1,000, however many minted there were. And then it would obviously give you buy, those people could buy it. If not, 5 minutes later, they would just repeat the process with the remaining rebounds, as a lot of people call it. And so everybody would know that I'm going to go for it in the first 1 to 2 seconds, and I'm going to get a screen that says, hey, thank you very much. You've been entered into the lottery. They should probably use a better term than that. And then everybody would know at the 5-minute mark, because people would have 90 seconds to pay, they'd be notified. There would be, the buy button would reappear. You could click it. You won't have to click it fast because you'd have 1 or 2 seconds to click it, which is a long time, as we know. And then it would do basically the same thing. It would grab all the people that clicked the rebound at 5 minutes, put them in the lottery. Maybe there's 50 left. 50 people will get it, and if those people failed, another 5 minutes later, it would just repeat the process until they were all gone. It would prevent all this mashing and all these other things. And I'm sure I'm sure other people have had this idea. I'm sure they have had this idea. Now, I think they would have to obviously tell people, because it is a change. It's not a first come, first serve. It is a lottery, but it retains one of the core concepts, which is it's fair. Now, the bot guys, sure, they can use their bot and they can press buy faster than me or you, but they just simply get a ticket faster. And then, can they use 5 phones? Sure, they can use 5 phones. They can use 10 phones. But once again, 10 phones with 100,000, 200,000 people going for a drop, it's so insignificant, it probably shouldn't matter. And if they want to do that, then great, they can do that. So either way, it's an interesting problem. I'm sure they have a number of really, really smart people working on it there. I'm sure it's way more complicated than I just described here. But I think it's something that, although may seem minuscule, especially with some of the stuff that Cavell showed on his channel, I think they need to watch. I'm not going to say it's going to bring down the whole company or anything like that. Of course, obviously, it's not going to do that. But it would maybe hurt some adoption and definitely have more people complaining. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to y'all soon.